Hey, I'm going to make this video to show you how to use Calendly end to end. I think it's uh, the easiest way to do this. So you have your own Calendly here, and then if you have the premium version, you can have all users and teams. So in other teams, you can always create a new team. So if you're on the premium version, you could create a new team, and you can name it. So if you were to create a new team, and this is on the premium version, then you can name your team name the Calendly team page, and then this would be the team page here will be the what's the word I'm looking for? The team name or the organization name or your podcast, whatever it is. So you want to make sure your URL here is the podcast. Now, you can still do that on your own Calendly. So you can always change up yours, just how I have calendly.com, Christian-Velitchkov. That's my personal. There are ways to, what's it called? Change that. So on all settings, there we go. Oh, my link. Yeah, under all account settings, my link, that's where you change your personal one. So if it's just gonna be solo, then you could change this to your podcast name over here, or company name. And then in here, what we want to do is, I'll do it from scratch. I'm not going to duplicate it. So we want to create a new event, and typically I do round robin. Now that is more in the premium section where you have a team and whatnot, and then you set it up from there. But I'm going to do just one-on-one for now. So this will be myself as the host, and then I'm just going to name it, let's just say, Christian's Podcast, and then I will have it as all options. We'll do something custom, and in the custom we'll add your own booking link. So if it's something separate and you have your own special Zoom link or a different calendar, you can always edit the location. And then let's just say we do for the podcast, we have our guests on riverside.fn. We'll add this over here. Okay. And then from here we'll hit continue. And then now that we're here, you go to the event details, and we have that Riverside FM. It'll show up here. So that's where people will go. And you can write a description here. We will, and you want to give instructions. We will, so the podcast will be hosted on Riverside FM on the link below. We will discuss the topics and questions during our podcast session. There will be 5 minutes prep time before. Let's see if I can just remove myself from this. 5 minutes prep time before we record the session. All right. And then you can put some more links. Link to Spotify, or something like a listen to podcast on Spotify. Link. And then you can listen to podcast on Apple. Link. Right? And then you can always add links over here. That's pretty robust. And you can provide more information as well. So that's at least the very minimum recommendation we have. You want to have your podcast name. You don't have to call it Christian's Podcast. Let's just say my event name is whatever I want it to be. It'll be Christian, or let's just say podcast. I can't think of a name that quickly. I'm just going to call it Christian's Podcast. I was trying to make it more robust. Okay, so with that portion done, we will hit save and close. Then from over here, because it's not round robin, you won't be able to choose your hosts. And this section does allow you to add your guests. We have the scheduling settings here. So how far out can they schedule? I don't recommend 60 days. I recommend maximum 14, because no one really shows up after 14 days. And then you can set your hours on your calendar here after your calendar is synced. So you can make your podcast, because this is a podcast only one, I'm probably going to switch it to... Okay, that's fine. I'm going to do custom hours. So just drop down here. And then I'm just going to remove Mondays, Tuesdays, because I know my sales days are slower on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm only going to have my podcast Wednesday, Thursday, Friday between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Wednesday. And then on Friday, I'm going to have it between 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Right? And so you can make it very custom like that. And then there shouldn't be anything else that's too crazy here. And once that's done, you just want to hit save and continue. And then you go back. And then we want to go to, that's the scheduling settings. Notification workflows. You want to enable all these. So this is where they will get actual notifications, email follow-up. And you can add your own workflows. So you have a section here that you can go add your own personalized workflows to give people reminders, but very minimum. You could also edit host email address, timing, and you could provide more information here around your podcast. You could provide more information about your meeting, and whatever else we want to do. Okay, now the important part, booking page options. This is where you change the name of your link. So I like to keep it short here. So I keep this just podcast, or even sometimes I keep it as short as pod. And then under name, email, allow invites. This is where we want to add more questions. So I like to delete these questions, text message, phone number. So over here, what is your phone? What is your phone number? And you can make it a little bit, what is the best phone number to reach you in case we get disconnected? Required. You want to make it required, or people are going to skip the question. And then we like to add questions about whatever questions we want. So we got their name, we got the email, now we have the phone number, and we want to add a question. How big, or usually pertaining to the podcast. For us, how long did it take you to reach 5 million? Okay. Tell us about what topics are you an expert on? Now, I never keep it more than 3 questions ever. You want to keep it generic because a lot of people won't book it. Now, every question you add here will kill your conversion rate. Your conversion rate will drop tremendously. You can do that. Collect payment on form. I don't recommend that. We've tested it. If you have a funnel with it that works, that everyone has a option to purchase at the end of the call on a consultation, that could be interesting, right? Over here after booking, this is for when you have it embedded to your website, or anyone who books it, you want to send it to your website. So my recommendation is I always redirect it and I send them to my website or my podcast link, or just so they can learn more about it. So I would add my podcast link here, or I would add a thank you page, right? And then you can also set up conversion tracking if you ever run ads to your Calendly here to convert, right? So let's just say I'm going to do Wiz.io here, and then I'm going to hit save and close. Okay, we got that portion done. Notifications and workflow, we set that up already. Cool. So then this is pretty much ready. So then you go here and you make sure it's on. So you have to tick the permission here to on, and then it's simple. You can copy your link and share it. And now when you do it, this is what it'll look like. And then the beautiful part with all of this is that now that this is done, I can go and clone it and make another version. If I want to test out a different URL, if I want to test out a different copywriting, right, for the podcast, because it does help. Different copywriting helps, different names will work. So we do have different versions. So sometimes we make a different version for what we're doing. As you can see, I have different types of meeting, so I know who sent it. For example, my onboarding call is usually sent by a sales rep, but my 15-minute meeting is sent by my internal team, and then my deep dive strategic marketing plan is someone else. So like I have different Calendlys that I duplicate, that I personally know and can reference and understand what the meeting type is and why that I was able to receive it. There's also a lot of other integrations that can be done. So I'm a big fan of integrating Calendly to your CRM. Um, you could also do to integrate it to your calendar, but I usually use a Zapier, and I zap it to whatever connection I want. But if you need it, you can have your Zoom here and everything else that's necessary. So yeah, I mean, this is essentially how to run Calendly. Everything you need to know on this.